All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Dedicated Show. My name is Kate Thrashley. I'm the founder of Dedicated and host of the Dedicated Show. I am extremely excited to talk about all things Alteryx and AI on this session. We've got two special guests, Melissa Burroughs, who's the Director of Product Marketing at Alteryx, joined with Monica Cisneros, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Product Marketing at Alteryx. So if you have any questions that you want to ask them, now is the time. Drop those into the comments. This is a very interactive live show. We are here live and we're here live for a reason, right? We want to talk to you, we want to interact with you and engage with you. And speaking of you, we have a question that we want to get started. So make sure you get your keyboards ready. The question is, it's a multiple choice. You can't get it wrong. It's ABC. At which level have you interacted with the Alteryx platform? So it's A, if you've used Alteryx for any sort of data prep in the past. B, if you started playing around with their AI and ML features. Or C, you simply have not used the platform yet. So go ahead and drop those into the comments. We'll check to see what everyone is thinking after our brief introduction. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest up on our stage here. Hello.
Hi.
Monica, Melissa, welcome to the Dedicated Show.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, I am super excited to host you here. Now, I think a great place for us to get started is getting to know the two of you. So I think if we start with some introductions, I'll ask you to tell us three things. So one, you'll tell us how long you've worked at Alteryx. Two, you'll let us know your role there. And three, what hobbies do you enjoy outside of work? So we're going to go ahead and get started with you, Melissa.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Kate. So, first, I have worked at Alteryx for about 5 years. I am the director of product marketing here at Alteryx, and I want to say I have four major hobbies right now. I enjoy playing the piano. I enjoy working on my golf swing, which is laughably bad. I've gotten into crochet, and also I'm just getting started, just falling down the rabbit hole that is automotive detailing.
Whoa. Okay,
Little schizophrenic, but those are the four things that I'm doing with what little free time I have right now.
Are these like COVID inspired hobbies?
They're pretty solitary, aren't they? Yeah, for sure. The golf swing COVID was a great opportunity to spend time at a driving range because you're outdoors in the sunshine and other humans can be around, but it didn't, at least at that time, feel like dangerous
It's like a
sharing.
60-foot distancing over there, right?
Yeah, you can yell at the fellow golfers. Exactly.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. And now, Monica, just quick reminder, it's how long have you worked at Alteryx, your role there, and some of your hobbies.
Perfect. So I have been at Alteryx since 2021. So right after, the whole shutdown, I have the role of AI and ML. I have been doing data science, machine learning, product marketing for a little while now. And recently I just got shifted really full time into AI. I'm really loving it. I mean, the intellectual exercises that we're doing right now, especially with the AI hype, is amazing. And then my hobbies. So I absolutely love painting. I have just finished one of my paintings recently. I love playing with my dogs. I have a basset hound. So like right now, I live in Seattle, so it rains a lot. So we need to find new things to do. And one of those is actually nose training. So I have been training her how to like find things, and it's really cool. And then I recently got back into reading, and I am reading right now Unmasking AIs, and I really recommend it for people watching. Yeah, those are like my three hobbies right now.
Oh my God, I love it. All right, so those are great hobbies, and AI must keep you pretty busy. And your hobbies even like AI now because you're reading about it. So
Yes.
yes, you can't let go. There's a question from Susan on where's the doggy? Have you hidden your?
Oh, she's right here. I'll try to like move the camera in a little bit, but let me see if I can.
Yeah. Well, we always love to see pets on screen. Why not? And I was looking through the comments. I see we've got a bunch of C's. So lots of folks, lots of opportunities here for individuals who have not used. Oh my God, hold on. Let's go full screen. Oh, that's so cute.
Aww.
Oh my gosh, like, let me sleep. Thank you for sharing that. That's really sweet. So I think it's actually great we're having this session because it looks like lots of folks are in this space where they haven't tried Alteryx yet. And I guess the first question I really want to get into here on the topic of Alteryx is, what is Alteryx? How would you describe it to someone who's never used it before?
Great question, Kate. Thank you for asking. So Alteryx is an analytics platform that helps everybody make data-driven decisions more easily and faster than ever before. So with Alteryx, you really don't need a technical background. You don't have to be a statistician because Alteryx has these automated building blocks that let you do almost anything with data, whether that's assessing its quality or preparing it or blending multiple data sets together, performing a wide array of statistical or even geospatial analysis on it, even leveraging data science and machine learning to make things like predictions and other types of advanced analysis. And all of this is possible because of things like Alteryx's thoughtful design, Alteryx's scalability for the enterprise, Alteryx's layers and layers of automation, and its infusion of artificial intelligence that helps you turn your data into answers and insights.
I would absolutely agree because I actually started using Alteryx, well, it'd probably be earlier this year. I wanted to just learn it because I love all things data. I sit more in the data viz and data storytelling from an expertise standpoint, but I always wanted to get into the world of data prep and, just making sure everything is formatted the right way. So I started playing around with it, and it really was that simple to get started. I know you can get very complicated if you had to, and you can sort of scale up the level of complexity, especially now with all this AI and ML. But even for some of the basics, it was super simple. And I see Susan is describing Alteryx here as magic and wizardry. So I love that. Thank you for joining us here, Susan. Okay, let's shift over to Monica. I know how much you love AI, so I wanted to know, when did you have a sort of aha moment where you're probably hearing all this stuff happening with AI, and I know Gen AI and ChatGPT, and then sort of that combination of like, oh wow, we can use AI and Alteryx to just make everything even easier and even faster, as Melissa was saying.
So I have been doing machine learning, AI, data science for quite a while now. And Alteryx has as well. We have been doing, text mining, sentiment analysis. We have been doing classification, regression methods. We have been doing AutoML. And we're really in depth in terms of that world, and we have been doing it for quite a while. Our customers have been doing it for quite a while. So for me, AI wasn't like a new term. It was something that it was just kind of embedded, and that's how we make our products better and faster and whatnot. Really, what I think that this past year, like 2022, was really kind of like a shift because I'm following all these people that are in thought leadership in AI and ML, and you started listening about, OpenAI, ChatGPT, what is it? And then I saw it on TikTok. When I saw it on TikTok, that was like really like the moment for me that I was like, oh my God, everything's gonna change. When you have like, people who are not in the space that are like talking about it, they're teaching people how to use it, they're like showing their own prompts so like they can get better responses. And I think that really was the paradigm shift that is happening from these like very these like teams of like data scientists or like researchers that are really into the neural nets and the models and how we can make it better, more optimized and efficient, to like, oh my God, it's like in the hands of TikTokers. What's going on? And for Alteryx, I really love working with our chief product officer, Suresh Vittal. he has this philosophy called Thousand Flowers Bloom, where like he, the company has a vision as to where we want to go and whatnot, but our engineering and product team have these program called innovation days. And basically we are fostering innovation with our product and engineering team of like, hey, like, why don't you play with the tools? Why don't you come up with like new features? It might not end up in the roadmap, but this is something where like we are finding and experimenting with our platform as is. And one of the like first things that came out was, hey, like let's do an OpenAI connector. Hey, let's do a workflow summary where we have the Alteryx workflow. So like, all the tools together that create an analytics workflow, we're able to summarize it and we're able to do documentation, which is something that we need in order to have our analytics work at a higher level, right? Which is like that documentation of passing the notes from one person to another, or even summarizing it for audit purposes. We have another one, which I absolutely love, which is Magic Documents and Auto Insights. Auto Insights is our automated insights platform tool that basically you literally just input data and like it gives you all the answers that you need. And then with Magic Documents, we are embedding Azure Cognitive Services, which is part of basically leveraging the technology from OpenAI, but with the background of Microsoft behind it. And you're able to have like emails with the tone that are context aware of the analytics, and then also PowerPoints. And this is something where at Alteryx we're trying to like bring both of both worlds of like the context rich natural language that is able for people to understand better, to be able to consume information better, and analytics, which is basically making sure that the results that you're getting, you're trusting them, and that that they're accurate, and you can build good decisions based from that.
Yeah, there's so much I want to respond to here. I mean, the trust thing that you just said, right? I think in the past when trying to introduce new software tools, platforms, technologies in an organization, there is that lack of trust because people have been doing things this way, right? So how have you worked, or how has Alteryx worked in terms of gaining the trust of those organizations to show that like this AI is actually working the way it should be working? It's not going to hallucinate on you. It's going to provide you with the right information. The emails that you receive in an automated fashion will actually be based on data that you can make your decisions on. How did you sort of go about building that trust?
Awesome question, Kate. Well, one thing I'm happy to share with you is Alteryx recently published our AI principles and the commitments that we as an organization are making to concepts like trust, security, transparency, to really make sure that not just we're being responsible with this powerful technology, but so are you and your organization when you leverage platforms like Alteryx. As Monica commented, AI is having massive impacts on our society broadly. It's showing up on TikTok. I feel like everyone and their mother is on ChatGPT, the way that it was very exciting to be on Google in the early aughts. And there are, I want to say, about a half dozen different principles that Alteryx has recently committed itself to. The first one is about transparency. Transparency and explainability, because Kate, you called it hallucination as one of like a very interesting emergent behavior in generative AI models that freaks people out. These things feel very factual, very confident, and they're making stuff up. That's very disconcerting. So understanding where that data is coming from under the covers is really important. And because that's what it requires clarity if you're going to have trust in the decision making that's powered by analytics that may be leveraging generative AI. Another element that is really important that Alteryx is committed to is the human agency and human oversight. Because again, it's this idea of as a user, you're sort of accountable for what you're doing with the product. And so making sure that this platform is empowering individuals to make well-informed decisions while safeguarding fundamental and robust oversight mechanisms. The idea of human in the loop is really important to Alteryx as well. And there's a number of others, including high accountability, reliability, safety, fairness, and inclusivity. I don't know if you mentioned that, Kate, but that's another concern we hear a lot around AI is bias because of training data bias. And of course, this is a big thing for Alteryx broadly. If you're familiar with Alteryx for Good, we do have a lot of philanthropic and social good programs. And so one of our AI principles is also about empowering societal good and socially responsible change.
To add to what Melissa's saying, I think that there are two pieces to that. One of them is the best practices of the organization, the human, and then the other one is also technological. Like there are things that we can do in order to make the models more accurate, more effective. There's this concept of retrieval augmentation generation, which is a technique in order for the model to actually grab a document or like a source and like basically fact check it. So like that is one of the pieces that we can do. There's also fine tuning where you're able to grab the model and then be able to basically make sure that it's saying the right tone and the right things. And then of course, there's like prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is one of the pieces that we are hearing a lot in the space, and it's basically when a human goes in and then is able to basically, when we're talking about the large language models, we're able to interact with it through prompts. And with that prompt engineering, basically what we're doing is making it more relevant in terms of like the responses are coming out of it. So all the best practices, responsible AI, absolutely important. And there's also things that we can do in terms of the, a trusted analytics platform and also how we deal with the data. Another one is using clean data. Like that is
wait, what's that? Clean data? Monica, what is that?
I mean, that's like our bread and butter. We love that at Alteryx, It's like, that's where we're famous for, data prep. And you grab multiple sources from multiple places. So that adds diversity to your data. Then you clean it, you format it, and then you put that into the models. That is super important when you're trying to not even leverage it. Like, of course, when, we're talking about enterprise level access to those large language models, but then also when, you're training your own like model, if you're doing some research, you're like, trying to come up with your own GPTs, right? Like that is something that is super important when you're, building and you're innovating, not only as part of an enterprise, but also as an individual.
Right. So Monica, it seems like two of your sort of favorite things that have come out in terms of AI with Alteryx have been the Magic Docs and the Auto Insights. Melissa, how about you? What comes to mind when you're like, oh, I love that they did this?
Oh my gosh, there's a long list. In particular, when we think about, our users, something that has come out recently that, I'd love to highlight to this audience, Kate, because I saw a lot of C's coming in. A lot of folks were like, what is this Alteryx? So a recently released feature I'd love to share with everyone is called Playbooks. You don't have to be an Alteryx user to understand the value of it. So dirty data is a common challenge for organizations, yes. But another one of the challenges that many businesses face when it comes to data is figuring out what kind of insights they should be trying to squeeze out of it. So many business leaders, and I don't think I'm casting unfair aspersions by saying this, but perhaps don't have the strongest understanding of how to apply analytics in their organizations. They often don't know what to ask for of their data pros. And so that puts the onus on the data pro, who has to then go do a bunch of research and mock up sample insights so the business can consider whether this is a thing they want to do with their data. So
it's like a lot of guesswork, right?
Exactly. And it's like, slow. It just takes so much time.
You want this?
So
Do you want this? And they're like, yeah, I don't know.
oh, yeah, and you're
Maybe.
supposed to iterate. You're supposed to be able to say, "Oh, that's a good that asks that another question has now come up. Find out this."
Yeah.
And it's just a slog. It's like the idea of waterfall software development, like, "See you in 6 months, we'll have a feature." And then Agile showed up and it's like, "Oh, feature every other week, feature every other week." And we could learn as organizations. So to empower that same agility, like, what if instead you could have high value analytics use cases recommended to you based on what you do, based on the kind of business that you're in, or better yet, have those use cases just mocked up for you so your team can consider them immediately. And we're talking like, let's be specific. For example, maybe you're at a hospital, or let's go tighter. You're working for the respiratory department of a hospital and you're a clinical quality analyst. Well, what if you could have this whole slate of patient care and root cause related analyses just recommended to you and then automatically mocked up in minutes? Things like you could analyze post encounter patient admission rates, you could analyze equipment usage and performance statistics, you could analyze trends in patient visits and patient satisfaction, and so much more. Well, that's what Playbooks does. It identifies these high value analytics use cases tailored to your business, tailored to your role, and it automatically generates. And this is the cool kind of wizardry of technology, to borrow a term I saw Susan use in the chat, the wizardry. Playbooks automatically generates a synthetic sample data set, and it builds a proof of concept deliverable based on it, all in minutes. And this is all possible via generative AI. Playbooks is powered by something called Alteryx Aiden, which is the engine for artificial intelligence and machine learning that's infused across the Alteryx platform. So that's just one of the many exciting things we're doing with AI and Alteryx today.
Amazing. I mean, the possibilities truly are endless, right? You used such a very specific example, and this can be used literally for everything. I mean, I've got family members that are completely not in this space. They're not in the corporate world at all, and they're like, "Hey, using ChatGPT to like respond to this thing." I'm like, "You know what ChatGPT is?" And it's just for those who don't. And when I tell them about it, they're like, "This is actual magic." And I'm sure this is how people felt when the internet was just coming out, right? They're like, "Oh my god, you can like email and find stuff online," and it is. Oh no, Susan's like, "No, that's Aiden is not her new boyfriend." We have a video. We have a video we made at the Alteryx Inspire event where she's like, "Aiden, oh yeah, just so you know, that's not my new boyfriend." That's. I actually want to get into this. So for those who are not familiar with Aiden, who's apparently not Susan's boyfriend, we we know Aiden powers Playbooks, but what is it really? Is it like part of Alteryx when you buy it? How does that actually work? Do you have to like? Is it an add-on?
Yeah, I can take this one.
Okay.
So Alteryx Eden is an umbrella marketing term. We came up with it. We invented it. Basically, what we want our customers to get out of it is that they understand the underlying technology that is powering Alteryx portfolio, all of it, right? So like we have AI and advanced analytics features within our portfolio. So like for example, in Designer, we had historically had computer vision, natural language processing, recommended tools. So like that is something that we already had for a really long time. Now under the Aiden umbrella, we're putting those features plus the new generative AI features as part of that umbrella. So like things like the OpenAI connector, the workflow summary. I can already say this because the cat's out of the bag. We're going to have like new features and new products that are for large language models, like for example, the Alteryx AI Studio that has already been announced in October. We're going to have enterprise LLMs management and customization as part of it, and then we're going to have new features that are going to have a new way of interacting with data now with, for example, a chat interface or like new tools that are recommending what is going to be the best next step in terms of your analysis. So like, for example, you already have, you input your data and then the tool recommends you, hey, you should like join your data with this other data set that you already have. Hey, you should, filter this new column because you want to get this out of your data. Like that sort of stuff that with natural language now is a new era of interacting with data. I love this quote that one of our colleagues, Peter Martinez, that he got it from somewhere else. He said that in a meeting that natural language is the new coding language. And the actual quote is English is the new coding language. But now we're also able to do that with other languages, which is something that I love as an ESL person. So my native language is Spanish. So like I can also do it in Spanish. So like
Wow.
I find that is like really cool, and being able to now we're able to interact with data the way that we want to interact with the world, because at the end of the day, what is data is just a representation of the real world, and what we want to get out of that is just how we interact with the real world.
You're saying this so calmly, but this is crazy exciting. Like, I mean, you've come to terms with it that this is happening, but I think that is so awesome that you could just be working in the Alteryx platform, and then something just says, "Hey, maybe you should do this and this," and you can have that interaction. It reminds me, if you guys remember Clippy from Microsoft. The one you couldn't get rid of, right? It's like, hello there, are you trying to create a resume? And you're like, go away, Clippy. You're annoying. This is going to be the opposite, where we're going to want Clippy, or whatever you end up calling this thing, right? You want them by your side at all times, because this is actually sounding like it's going to be helpful. I love it. So, a question while we're talking, you're describing sort of a whole shift in how we operate, because the types of skills people are going to have to learn, the type of job they're going to do day to day is really changing. So do you have any tips or suggestions on where, let's say, people who want to work in this space and let's say use Alteryx for an organization, what sort of skills should they be trying to hone right now to be ready for this new wave?
I think that there's going to be a mesh of a bridge of things, right? So like for the longest time, we had people using code. And it takes a long time to learn how to code, to like learn how the syntax works. I mean, it could even take years. With Alteryx, what we have done historically is, no code tools, making it super easy to use analytics and be able to get, like an answer that used to take months to develop in code in, I don't know, a couple days, a couple hours. With this like natural language interface, that time to get the answer that you need is going to significantly reduce. And we're talking about like, something that would take you hours to like, hey, let me find the join and like filter it out and like let me put this like model. Like now you can do that in like minutes. It's absolutely crazy. So that is like one part of it, where like data and analytics, and we talk a lot about democratization. I would love for Melissa to talk more about the concept of democratization, where the bar of getting into it is getting lower. However, I do think that there are going to be very specific skills that are going to be needed. I do think that like people understanding like how data processes work is going to be super important, because a lot more people are going to be leveraging the data, understanding how to store the data, understanding how to like classify that data in terms of like in databases, how the data pipelines work, making sure that best practices are followed, making sure that those workflows that we're doing, those workflows have checkpoints, is going to be super important. And I do think that like people trying to get into data and trying to get a specialized job where like, hey, you're, not only like a person like getting the information, but a person actually working in data, they're going to have to develop those types of ways on how to think about how those data pipelines work. And that's going to be even more important going forward because of the demand of getting the information. And now want Melissa to talk about democratization because, she's a Polish author. So
Yes, Melissa, I saw you co-authored a book, Democratizing Analytics, and there was a section there all about upskilling employees to accelerate insight. So first of all, congratulations on the book. I know that's not an easy task. It's usually a very long, drawn-out task, especially if you didn't leverage ChatGPT to write the book for you, which I know people are doing now. So
Yeah, I want to say the book was published just before ChatGPT really
mine was
got
too.
mainstream attention. Yeah.
It would have
Hey,
been lucrative to try, though, right? Because with systems in place, Monica, you were saying that we need those checkpoints. I think humans are so good at saying, "Oh, look, the system is doing it. Goodbye. I'll just go hang out now." Looks like you've got this system. But yeah, Melissa, I'd love to hear your thoughts on uh, how is this impacting the skill set that people are using.
Yeah, I think that, as AI is more and more dominant, showing up in a variety of roles, and most notably data and analytics roles, there are varying skill levels that people are going to be bringing to the table, and yet now there's an expectation that they're going to be able to leverage AI. And at Alteryx, our strategy is all about making sure that AI can work for everyone, right? No matter their skill level. So first, for beginners onwards, Alteryx plans to make sure that users can leverage AI to reduce their efforts on things that are boring, things that are repetitive, things that are time consuming tasks, right? Sometimes this stuff just has to get done in analytics, but they're not really where we shine as humans, right? These kinds of repetitive activities are really better suited to a computer anyway. So we let AI do them and allow the human user to do what they do best, which is thinking creatively, right? And thinking about data. So in this area, you'll see AI taking on more and more tasks, similar to what Monica commented on when she mentioned Magic Docs, and that Susan is a huge fan of as well, taking on summarization tasks or automatically applying increasingly abstract and increasingly intuitive commands from users. And related to that, we also expect to use AI as a helper. And in this regard, it's more like a coach, an entity that is there to help users develop their own analytical skills while they're using the Alteryx platform. For example, if you look at a given field of data, you mentioned, Kate, you love the idea of, oh, maybe you should do this next as a suggestion. Well, our AI will suggest a variety of transformations that would be smart to apply to that data based on the data's context. And in many cases, the AI can even perform end-to-end analysis for the user and provide potential root cause interpretations in plain language for that user to review and explore. Monica mentioned auto insights. That's exactly what's happening in that offering. And finally, I want to hook into something else that Monica mentioned about connecting to AI directly. We also plan to enable our users to connect to and leverage large language models directly. If you're that more advanced user, more comfortable with things like prompting, et cetera, uh, for our most sophisticated users, we want them to be able to not just interact with LLMs in a governed and secure manner, but also have AI available to help them do things like automatically evaluate and generate novel features in their data for use in developing their very own machine learning models. So no matter where you are in the journey, Alteryx intends to let AI be applied in ways that are going to help you level up.
I love that. And then, so your last thing that you mentioned, this sort of your own LLM, I'm assuming that's going to be governed and private and secure somewhere, not like OpenAI, which is very much open.
No, so actually, there's a lot of ways on how to use an LLM. So like OpenAI, they have the proprietary models for ChatGPT 3.5 and 4, and then they're adding new ones like Dolly. Like, they're really cool. One of the pieces that I hear from customers is like, hey, we want our data to stay with us. We don't want to be sending our data anywhere else. And I think that is one of the strengths of Alteryx, right? Like, we're agnostic. Like, we connect with pretty much everybody. So like if you want to have your data in AWS, if you want to have your data in Azure, you want to have your data on-prem, wherever it is, we can connect with it and we deal with it. Now, there's also like some limitations that are happening with LLMs. They require a lot of resources. They require a lot of compute. We see that most of our customers are using cloud for that because it allows for the flexibility to scale up and down, to like spin up different GPUs. It gives the people that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to connect with multiple LLMs. So like, OpenAI is one of them, but then there's also open source ones. And I love open source because what happens with that is that it allows users to have a level of transparency and be able to leverage them however they want. So like, there are different LLMs out there. Actually, there's like quite a ton. And one of the pieces that we're doing with AI Studio is that we are pulling in some of those open source models that people are able to fine tune them. They're able to be able to do add their information from their company to like have them be aware of their own documents, for example, and be able to get that information that is relevant, context aware, and also effective in terms of like the response that you get. And when you deploy it, you're able to deploy it in multiple ways. So for people that are looking to use cases that are not too risky, like hey, like let's just do some like marketing things, like they're gonna go public anyways, like it's like not that risky. Sure, like we can just do cloud software as a service, so SaaS. For people that require some use cases that hey, I really need my data to like be like with me, be secure, we have this thing called private data handling. And basically what it does is that it is a way for you to leverage both the benefits of cloud, so like be able to do the scale up and down, be able to like have that flexibility and manage the cost, but then also that data doesn't leave your private data what's it called, layer. Like it doesn't go anywhere. It stays with you. And that is where we're seeing customers specifically see use cases like, for example, do financial or tax use cases. They're leveraging that type of deployment, and they feel very confident with that because we're giving them a trusted platform of analytics that they already love and use, and they're able to do that. They add the context of the large language models, and that it's being deployed in their private environment where the data doesn't leave what they control. So I think it's one of those places where there's a lot of flexibility as to like how people can use it, and really the level of risk and control that you want, and being able to innovate that way.
Yeah, I love that. And thanks for sharing the sort of general use cases for the private and the public. I think that's helpful. We did have a question here from Kristen asking, what types of LLM use cases have you seen your customers using? I think you covered some of that. If you can share maybe the majority of use cases that are coming in now, I think that's going to keep changing over time. But what have you seen as like the most popular use cases?
I can speak to that.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I like how we're both like very excited about.
I love it. I know we can go on for 3 hours here. I love this.
I know, right? Really, the limitation is your imagination. So I'll comment on some really broad use cases. Monica is in the trenches. She's our artificial intelligence and machine learning expert. So she's very deeply engaged with customers who are doing really novel things with our AI. But we have seen a broad swath of customers using Alteryx in concert with ChatGPT, for example, and that's via Alteryx's Open AI connector, again, letting people leverage things in a governed manner for doing things like building their own customer emails, right? A marketing use case where you're applying logic to choose what text to generate to send to different segments of your marketing database. They've also been using the OpenAI and Alteryx connection to edit text for more sophisticated grammatical corrections. So if you think about if you have a certain writing style that your organization adheres to, and like a brand guideline, there are folks actually using Alteryx to apply that business logic in concert with ChatGPT to edit text. There's some translation taking place, although we're not formally a translation product. There are some folks doing lookup across languages. There's a lot of summarization. So they're sending text through to be summarized and then piped back in to text-based workflows that are happening within Alteryx, and also doing some nuanced sentiment analysis. We do have some sentiment analysis capabilities right within Alteryx, but if you're looking to change some nuance or address phrases and add different emotional valence and weight to them, the OpenAI connector is being leveraged for that as well. So it's a lot of fun things. Like I say, only limited by the imagination. Monica, I know we both jumped in at once. What was bubbling to your mind regarding Kristen's question?
So those are use cases that we have customers using that today. One of the ones that are kind of bubbling up in terms of like our R&D are a little bit more complex. Like for example, text classification is a really big one, and we're already using like natural language processing for it, and we have already been supporting that use case. But then now with large language models, we're looking a little bit deeper into that, as Melissa saying, like just adding one more layer. And then one of the use cases that I keep seeing that is popping up, but I haven't actually seen it quite yet baked, is for like customer success, like kind of like a chatbot to like respond to like customers. I have seen like early prototypes that are working amazingly, but I have not quite seen it like at scale yet, but I'm super excited to actually see it at scale. I think that use case will be very interesting to see not only at Alteryx, but like overall, like as using large language models for not customer success, but like, customer responses, like customer support, those sort of things where you're able to get information from like help documentation or from like previous cases, and then be able to leverage that information that is accurate and have a response a lot faster than trying to manually go and search all of those documents and historical support tickets, for example.
I absolutely love how excited you both are about this whole conversation about Alteryx, about AI. And I'm actually really looking forward to going to Alteryx Inspire next year. So I was part of the event this year, which seems, I wanted to say last year because this year has been so long. No, it still happened this year, I'm reminding myself, in Las Vegas. And I'm coming back next year. I'm assuming I'm going to hear about all of this, plus maybe 25 new things that Alteryx comes up with based on how AI is transforming the world. So wanted to know sort of what do you think we can expect? What else can we expect to hear about in the next, 5 months? May 2024.
Melissa, do you want to go first, and then I can add the AI specific stuff?
Well, as far as all of the announcements that we're going to be making at Alteryx Inspire this year, I'm not really
You can't tell.
allowed to let the cat out of the bag. So there's a number of different types of innovation that you can expect to see for our whole product suite, related to operating on the cloud, related to efficiency and time savings, and related to doing more and more powerful use cases with analytics. We're very customer driven. So based on the feedback that our customers provide us, that's how we end up prioritizing a lot of what goes on the product roadmap, as well as Monica commented, the internal innovation, the let 1,000 flowers bloom philosophy. We do have a lot of really exciting and delightful features that come out of our internal R&D innovation days as well. So there's going to be a broad swath of reasons to attend, and the Alteryx product innovations is certainly going to be a highlight.
So specifically for AI, we're going to have AI Studio. I can talk about it because we haven't announced it yet. We have already announced it. I'm super excited for you guys to see AI Studio. It's like really cool. Again, you get to, pick your models, be able to fine tune them, be able to use them in the Alteryx portfolio, and be able to, leverage large language models in a secure, trusted way. So that is like super awesome. And then we have another one that I cannot still say what it is, but I can describe it. Basically, what we have is, that like recommendation and like a new interaction on like how to work with designer with large language models. So I'm like super, super excited for you guys to see it. That announcement's probably going to come super soon. And just keep an eye on it, because I do think it's going to be revolutionary in terms of the way that we interact with data. And Alteryx is the front of it. We're really trying to be leaders, innovators in the space. There are a lot of other vendors out there that are doing the same, but at the end of the day, it's about who do you trust, and who are the people putting efforts into making sure that when you're leveraging AI, they're doing it in a responsible way, they're doing it with the checks and balances, and then with the best practices on like having that human in the loop is super important for anybody trying to use AI. So, I'm really proud of Alteryx for publishing their responsible AI principles, and then also the new programs that we're coming up with to make sure that our customers, when they're leveraging our AI tools and they're even creating their own AI applications, they're doing that in following best practices with responsible AI at the front, and then also, upskilling those customers to learn the data, the principles of data in terms of like clean data, making sure to like reduce bias, making sure that the models are not drifting, for example. That is that is something that we are very proud of in terms of like not only the product, but then also the programs that come with it. We're not going to leave you alone, like, hey, figure out how to use LLMs.
Here it is. Bye.
We're here for you. Exactly.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's going to be a huge transformation across the board, like you mentioned, not only the systems, the processes, making sure you're following all the governance and security, but also upskilling the people who are doing that work. We do have a question here from George. He's asking, can all non-structured data be classified by Alteryx AI?
Great question, George. Monica, do you want me to give a brief answer on this, and you can add
Yes,
color if
please.
you'd like? All right, fantastic. So this is a great question, George, and it's sort of multi-part. Yes, semi-structured data can be classified within Alteryx. Alteryx comes with text mining capabilities. So if you've got, this like long thwack of documents, or you have PDFs that are kind of been scanned in and are really difficult to read, and you're in a situation where you need to organize this text in a manner, Alteryx's text mining capabilities and OCR capabilities will let you pull, like for example, in the PDF use cases, pull that text out of your document and then organize it in different formats. So, for example, if you wanted to perform sentiment analysis on that data, it would be able to automatically apply one of our machine learning models to understand for different sentences and paragraphs what the overall emotional valence of that document is. And once you've got that text, I would say categorized really properly, when you've got it organized in a manner, you can then do things like apply proper classification models to it. Again, all without having to leave Alteryx and all without having to code.
Wow. Seems like a dream fairy tale come true. Monica, did you want to add something? Because we had one last question we'll take after.
Let's take the next question. Melissa answered it perfectly.
Okay, great. So Christine's question is, what type of vector DB tools does Alteryx have?
I'm going to have to get back to them. We do have a vector DB as part of the architecture, but I do not know anything specific on that. Melissa, I assume that you don't either.
Yeah, as far as the details of like the vector indices and databases that happen within Alteryx, we know that we have them. Whether they're user facing is a bit of an open question for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Great. We can always follow up with Christine. Fine. We have a different last question from Susan. She's saying cocktails at Inspire.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. You got your answer, Susan. All right. So before we wrap, the holidays are coming up. So I wanted to know what is on your personal wish list. And I don't know if this is something you can announce because you're probably under all these rules of like, no, don't tell people anything. But what would be on your personal wish list of, wow, I wish I could have this in Alteryx?
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Alteryx Aiden continues to enrich the user experience in the platform, particularly along the lines of, what Monica alluded to, using a fully natural language interface
Yeah.
to automatically generate or adjust analytic workflows or even automatically generate novel visualizations. Who knows what'll be in my stocking come Christmas Day?
Interesting. How about you, Monica? What's on your wish list?
Honestly, for me, I think that the tools are very complete. What I would really love to see are actually use cases. Right now, I'm a big like I love to give back. I like doing social responsibility projects is actually one of my hobbies. And we're working with Dr. Erica Router to try to figure out how to use the new tools for new use cases in terms of social responsibility. Actually, this is a plug for her. If you have a chance, go follow Dr. Erica Router. I love her. She right now is volunteering with an organization that is helping identify human trafficking victims and using. We're looking into perhaps using our AI tools to try to help her with her project, and perhaps go further with it. But right now, she's already doing that work with like Alteryx Designer. They have already identified and rescued quite a few number of people. They have identified people to um, for arrests. So I'm really looking forward to that in terms of how many other use cases can we do, and also how we can use the technology for good. That is one thing that I'm really looking forward to next year, like part of my Christmas present.
Well, it looks like you're both on the nice list. I just checked, so I'm assuming you're gonna get your wishes. And Monica, yeah, that's definitely an honorable cause and goal. And I wish. What was it, Dr. Erica? What's the last name?
Router. We can put it on the
Yeah, we
chat.
can put it in the chat after, for sure, for those who want to follow the work and maybe support how they can. So we are getting close to our time here, so I wanted to sort of go around and first of all, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm assuming for anyone who wants to follow up, is LinkedIn the best option, or where can folks go to connect with you, follow up, learn more about Alteryx? Melissa, let's start with you.
Sure. Monica actually turned me on to Linktree, which is a helpful kind of online portfolio and social media aggregator. You can find me at Melissa Burroughs on LinkedIn. I'm also / Melissa Burroughs. I managed to get that URL first. Yay me.
Nice.
You can find me on LinkedIn where I'm most active. I'm also on X, still at Melbuzz. So MELBUZZ. And those are 3 great places to find me. I'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. And Monica?
Yes, so Linktree is the best one. Also, at the Linktree, you're also able to get access to some of the podcasts that we did in a previous project that we were doing also with data. Go check it out; it's amazing. And then LinkedIn is the best one for me, but I'm also on like Instagram and like X, um, and everything's in the Linktree is / Monica S. Cisneros.
It is confusing that they changed it to X. I liked the name Twitter better. I don't know. I still call it Twitter, but yeah, X. Find them on X.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Twitter.
Yes, exactly. Well, Melissa and Monica, thank you so much for being on the Dedicated Show today, talking to us about all things Alteryx plus AI. I think everything is like, and now with AI, it's like batteries not included, but AI is always included. So
Vitamin
thank you
D
so much
cereal.
again for taking this full hour and talking to the dedicated audience. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all probably on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Now with AI.